Welcome back to another episode of the Wealth Building Strategies podcast. I'm your host, Jeremy Constantino. Today, I'm joined by an excellent guest, Jim Lee. Jim, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Jeremy. Pleasure to be here.
Excellent. For those of you that do not know Jim, Jim is the principal and managing partner of Formosa Investing, and he has invested in over 600 multifamily units in the past couple of years in both LP and GP. And so welcome to the show, Jim. And I guess today let's just talk about your story and how I think you were you born and raised in Taiwan? Is that correct?
That is correct.
Excellent. Yeah. So let's talk. Let's just dive in and tell us your story, where you come from, and how you got into real estate.
Yeah. So, like you said, I was born and raised in Taiwan. I immigrated to America at the age of 11 years old. Studied here, got my bachelor's degree in economics from UCLA back in 2010. Now, for those that remember, back in 2008, that was during the subprime mortgage crash, 2010, the European debt crisis. So coming out of college, it was very difficult for me to find a job. Took me a year to kind of grind through all these interviews. Eventually, I got so good at doing these interviews, really good at selling myself, that I landed a job as an inside sales working at LoopNet Costar. For those that don't know what LoopNet is, it's basically Zillow for commercial real estate. And through that job, I learned the importance of having multiple stream of income by talking to real estate investors, lenders, property managers, agents on a daily basis. From there, I kind of understood the importance of having investing in real estate and having that additional stream of passive income. So I acquired my first 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom condo. And as soon as I got that passive income, I was pretty hooked and never looked back, and kind of transitioned from a W-2 employee to eventually transition to become a realtor, and then got into syndication because of the network that I built.
Yeah, that's really being fortunate to start out your working career with Costar. And not that many people realize the importance and the value that Costar has with the data that they have.
Mm-hmm.
What was some of your specific roles with Costar? I think you mentioned it, but say again what you did.
Yeah, my role is inside sales. So all I did was just stay in the office, make dials, collect credit cards over the phone. Everybody can sign up on LoopNet for free, but as a free account searcher, you cannot see all the listings. So the idea is free cannot see free. If you're a free searcher, you can only see the pay listings.
Yeah.
And if you're a free lister, you can only the pay searchers can see it. So if you upgrade your membership, everybody can see it, or everybody can search for whatever you have on the platform.
Yeah, I'm part of a commercial real estate brokerage, co-owner, and in our brokerage we use Costar, and that program is tremendous as far as the data it gives to us as brokers and as well as investors to really analyze properties and markets, cap rates, vacancy rates. It's tremendous. So yeah, that's interesting that right out the bat you got plugged into to seeing the world of commercial real estate.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just that back then, I still had fear, right? Because my mindset wasn't there to be able to think that I can potentially own and manage 100+ unit apartment building. And that's why I started small with a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom condo.
Yeah, and that's interesting that you say that too. Realtors, so I'm realtor and brokerage owner of multiple offices. The realtors themselves have that same hesitation to investing in real estate, which is very strange. And so that's interesting that you brought that up. You're working for Costar, and there's still this hesitation of, well, how am I going to get involved? What should I or should I not? It's interesting that you say that.
Yeah, I think it was just at the time it was just lack of education.
Yeah.
I think it's just we just need to be a little bit of financially educated to take that leap, right?
Right.
And I think as soon as I picked up the purple Bible that most people read, Rich Dad Poor Dad, that's when I yeah, that's when I
the
such
purple
shit.
the purple Bible. I like that. Is it
There
really
you
all
go.
the way purple? Yeah, it is purple. Purple Bible.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, then that's when I started to change my mindset about
So if that's the
investing.
Purple Bible, then I wonder what his other books would be called. Oh,
Yeah, so that's the OG Purple Bible.
yeah. Yeah. Okay. So you read that? Did you read that before you bought did your first property?
I read that after I bought the first condo.
There you go.
And the reason why is because to talk a little bit about more about my background, since I was born and raised in Taiwan, I my parents raised me with a saver's mentality. So in Asian culture, we've been taught if you can't pay for something in cash, you can't afford it. In our mind, debt is slavery and cash is freedom. So I actually bought this condo all cash offer.
Okay.
It's a short sale. It took me a year long to finally close it. And after I acquired it, I realized there's so much I don't know about real estate. And that's when I started to educate myself. And as soon as I read that book, I realized the importance of using leverage,
Yeah.
for tax purposes, to amplify your returns and so forth. So I was able to see, both sides of the coin because of that.
Yeah. What I I think all of us investors and entrepreneurs in real estate, we start with that Purple Bible. And one thing that I'm realizing that it really does not talk about is active investing versus passive investing, truly in the true sense, and it really doesn't get into much of real estate syndications.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
so go ahead. So talk about what was the next step?
Yeah, so that's good topic to talk about. So after I acquired the 2 bedroom, 1 bathroom condo, I pretty much did everything from A to Z myself. I found the tenant, I ran the background check, I collected the rent, I even did the maintenance myself, and I realized that I was too actively involved, so to speak. I wanted to focus my time and energy on, making money doing what I do best, which is inside sales. I didn't want it to be fully on taking on a real estate project. So I started to educate myself again to figure out how to automate things, how to set up a system, how to have a list of vendors that I can just call and I don't have to worry so much about it. And also explore the opportunities to create partnerships with property managers, right? And that's also what triggered me to explore syndication, because essentially syndication is everything I just told you about, right? It's a partnership between
Right.
it's a team collected effort
Yep.
to be able to syndicate 100+ unit apartment building. But the only difference is you're just playing the bigger game, right? You're scaling. It's a lot easier to scale that way instead of doing acquiring multiple condos or 1 to 4 units slowly. And that's when I started to figure, okay, there might be something there. I think the syndication might be what I'm destined to do.
Yeah, I think your story resonates with so many real estate investors is for some reason maybe it's the Purple Bible, but we think of buying a rental property as passive, but it's not. There's so much work involved with searching for the property, doing your property inspections, making the improvements, getting it leased up. And that takes a lot of time, even if you have, oh, I got a property manager. Okay, well, the property manager is only going to do a little bit. You still got to handle all the finances, the taxes, the bank account statements, everything.
Absolutely. You have to have a team set up. You
Yeah.
need to have a go-to accountant to make sure that, everything is that you're working together with not just an accountant, but attorneys, and to set up LLC and vendors, contractors. So you are practically it is a business.
Yep.
People think about getting into real estate that they can just kind of half-ass it, but in reality, some people can get away with it being a slumlord. I've seen that happen. But if you want to grow your real estate portfolio, you have to set up a system. You have to build partnerships. I mean, create partnerships and build relationships over time.
Yeah, and the partnerships is going back to what you said earlier is that your strength was inside sales. Your strength may have not been, skim coating drywall or doing texture on a home or doing tile. Let the experts in skim coating and tile do their job so that you get the best ROI for that renovation, or the best ROI from being a property manager or leasing out. Let the good realtor lease up the property. Don't try to do it yourself. And so that's I think that's the beauty of the syndications that you're talking about. Is you can do what you're best at. Let your other partners do what they're best at doing.
Absolutely. I think that's what syndication is all about, right?
Yep.
Because at the end of the day, we're the experts, we're in the field, we're going out there to do the due diligence, we're underwriting the deal, we're finding the deal, and we're doing a lot of work that people
Yep.
don't see. And at the end of the day, investors just think that we're just taking their money and not doing anything. But the reality is, we're constantly out there, we're constantly putting ourselves, going through these networking events, joining mastermind groups, constantly traveling, and it takes a lot of work, a lot of grind, and to be able to get this everything all set up properly.
Yep. Yep. So I guess now talk about what was after that, the condo project.
Yeah, so after the condo project, I decided to get a real estate license on the side and became a realtor. And that's what I mentioned earlier, is to the transition from W-2 employee to become an entrepreneur. And I decided to not only try to see if I can find my own deal, but also make a career out of it. Did that for 2 years, wasn't really a good fit. And then during lockdown, that's when I focused all my energy and time on studying syndication. And as soon as we opened it back up, I went out to these networking events, joined Raise Master, and just constantly putting myself out there. And was able to find a business partner and syndicate my first two deals in
Nice.
Florida.
Nice. Yeah. So your story is similar to mine as well. So I was doing small single family renovations and flips, rental properties, and I realized that I need to get my real estate license, and that's exactly what I did. I got my real estate license as well. Um, so yeah. So talk about some of your first couple deals on the multifamily deals.
Yeah, sure. So my first deal is in Orlando, Florida. It's a 200 unit apartment building. Classy value add, built in 1972. Uh, Projected hold period is very typical, 5 years hold. And then, it's pretty straightforward, 8% cash on cash, 70-30 split with 2x equity multiple. The second deal is in Jacksonville, Florida. All the specs are pretty much the same. The only difference is it's a 382 unit apartment building. It's a portfolio of two complex. One is 142 units and the other one's 242 units. Same, very similar projection. So no need to go into that. But yeah, so that's also projected to hold for 5 years.
So what is your main role on those projects?
My main role is to raise capital, investor relation, and marketing.
Cool. Cool. Excellent. All right. So I guess so what is your mission and vision for real estate syndications in general, and how, and kind of what are your goals?
Yeah, so my mission is to educate and bring value in the form of syndication. In my opinion, it's the safest and fastest track to reach the reality of financial freedom. My vision is to make sure that everyone who's part of Formosa Investing, which is my company name, will improve their financial life tenfold, so they can focus on reaching their dreams and not their next paycheck.
Excellent. So what you said Formosa is the name of your company. So interesting name. Where does that name come from?
So Formosa is a name that was given by the Portuguese back in 1500 when they discovered the island Taiwan before it was
Ah,
named Taiwan, and they named it Formosa, which means the beautiful island.
wow.
And yeah, so ever since then, Taiwanese took that as something we're proud of. And as soon as they see Formosa, as soon as a Taiwanese investor sees my logo, they automatically recognize it. So that's my brand, it's my niche.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, a lot of our listeners are probably they're real estate agents, because that's, so we have about 350 agents in my offices. So I guess what kind of advice would you have for real estate agents that are interested in investing?
I would say with investing, I think just the best advice I can give, what I would tell myself, 5 years, 10 years ago, is definitely put yourself out there, connect with people, go network, create your own community. I think that's the biggest thing that I've taken away recently, is that, if you create your own community, you get people to gather together, talk about real estate, talk about investing. Essentially, you're going to see deals coming into your inbox left and right, and you're going to be able to build relationships over time. And it's again, going back to what we said earlier, it's a team collected effort. People naturally want to help each other in the real estate world, because it's a win-win situation for everybody. There's enough money for everybody. You gotta approach it with an abundance mindset, right? That's what I would tell for everyone out there.
Excellent. Any last words for our listeners before we wrap up this latest episode?
I guess, like, the one thing I would just say that I've been telling most people lately on podcasts is, just keep an open mind, change your attitude about trying new things. And what I mean by that is, again, like what I said earlier, being able to see both sides of the coin, right? In my opinion, there's actually three sides of the coin: the heads, tails, and the edge. If you can stay on the edge, you're able to just learn so much more. And I could give you an example if you like.
Sure.
So when I mentioned, the savers mentality, right? I've always been stuck in living in that bubble for most of my life, until I finally acquired my first real estate. After that, educated myself, read the Purple Bible. Then I saw how important it is to use good debt to be able to use leverage and be able to make even more money or return on my investment. So now I get the best of both worlds, right? I get not only the heads, the tails. I stay on the edge. I get,
Nice.
I'm able to do so much more.
Excellent. All right. So where can the listeners and the viewers get in contact with Jim Lee?
They can check my website out, formosainvesting.com. I wrote a short ebook, about 20 pages long, all the mistakes I made as a real estate investor, so you don't have to make them. And then I also you can connect me on social media links, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn at Formosa Investing.
Excellent. You need to come back on. I like that title of that ebook, and that sounds like a title of another podcast that we should do. We should do a whole podcast dedicated with that name, the mistakes. But until then, I guess you got to go to his website and download his ebook.
All right.
All
Thanks
right.
for having me, Jeremy. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, enjoyed the talk and nice meeting you. And this is a wrap for our latest episode of the Wealth Building Strategies podcast.